From the workroom at RuPaul's Drag Race to Kiki's closet, today I'm chatting with drag royalty and I cannot wait.
Come on and come and play in Kiki's closet today.
Alright friends, please help me welcome to the stage, Tempest du jour! Hello!
I feel like I should make like an entrance, like a... Here
That's
she
perfect.
is.
There she is, in the desert, coming to us from Tucson, Arizona.
From Tucson.
Tempest, my first question of the day is, what color is your heart?
My heart?
Yeah, what's it feeling today?
It's sort of like deep, like ox blood red right now. That's what happens when I have anxiety and I get stressed. I'm a little stressed today. Can I tell you why I'm
Yes.
having anxiety?
Yes.
And this is so weird, but this is my life. So tomorrow, this film crew from Germany is showing up at my house with 3 drag queens from Germany because they're shooting a documentary about these German drag queens going across the United States. And they're stopping here to like play with me. We're going to do a show together, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just trying to like get my house clean. I'm like, they're going to film in my house. What do I have to clean? What do I have to make look cute?
Very Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
I mean, a little bit, yeah. But welcome
Yeah.
to my world.
We know Tempest from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 7 back in 2015, but I walked into my costume fitting here at Pioneer Theater, and I said, is that Tempest du jour? And surely enough it was. Here you were in Salt Lake City designing the costumes for our show. It was such a wonderful surprise.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's probably my 5th or 6th or 7th show there, I think. I love working there. It's a great company. It's a great space. It's a great place to go. And they always call me when they're doing the big musicals. So I feel honored. I'm working, so I'm good.
Totally, and it's so fitting that our show takes place in the Renaissance because your drag name is from Shakespeare.
It is, in fact, yeah. It's sort of an homage to my theater roots and all the Shakespeare I've done.
Great, and most people don't know that you have a background in costume design and you're a professor at the University of Arizona. When did you first get your sense of design?
I don't know. I think you're kind of born with it in a sense, but yeah, I was doing costume design long before I was doing drag, and it's just something I sort of always wanted to do. In fact, it's funny, I was telling someone yesterday, my guidance counselor in high school, I remember she was this terrible woman, but she sat me down my senior year and said, what do you want to do with your life now? What are you going to do? And I said, I want to do theater. And she looked at me and smirked and said, what do you really want to do? Like the implication is you can't, make a career out of theater. And here I am. And if I didn't think she was sort of dead and buried at this point, I'd find her and say, see, I told you, you horrible woman. I've always had affinity for the theater, and it's always been a safe place for LGBTQIA people like us. I should say me. I shouldn't assume anybody else. It's where I found my home. It's like Armistead Maupin says, it's your logical family versus your biological family. So this is where I found my logical family. And I love doing it. I mean, I was the kid that was like making clothes for my sister's dolls when I was a kid. So it was in me.
And it's so great that you've been able to jump from drag and do theater at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the balance I need in my life. I mean, currently I'm a single dad, and that's the biggest part of my life. But I have to have balance, and I have to have creative outlets. And my academic career, I've been a professor for 24 years, and that fulfills a certain part of my needs, and then the drag fulfills another part, and the designing fills up a part. I've never been one to abide by rules, like you must focus on this career only and do this. And I say to people, do what you want to do what makes you happy. And if you're really passionate about it, you'll find a way to make it work. Somehow I do.
Now, over the last 2 years, we've had really important discussions about diversity and inclusion. And I was wondering if these conversations have shifted the way you look at drag.
The whole world has changed in the last few years, like drastically. I mean, COVID aside, as far as diversity and acceptance is concerned. And I credit really RuPaul and RuPaul's Drag Race and World of Wonder for making drag culture acceptable and understandable to the general audience, to the world. And even drag itself has changed so much in the last even couple years, but especially in the last 10 years. And it's just opened up possibility. I see it in my students a lot at the university. When I was a student, back when the earth was cooling still, it was something we never mentioned. We never talked about. We couldn't talk about. It was too scary. And now it's just no big deal. Gender identity and sexuality and those things, they just don't matter anymore to these students because they've grown up with it. I mean, I shouldn't say they don't matter. They matter, but they're not an issue. I'm really proud and happy to be part of that world. And if I can make a difference somehow, then that's where I find my worth.
Your students are so lucky to have a professor that is so welcoming and nurturing of this new world too, because not everyone is.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. And there's still many places in the world in our country where that's still a bad thing. You know, the homeless rates and the suicide rates in LGBTQIA kids are 5 to 6 times the national average. And so that says there's still a huge problem that we have. I love showing that, you can be a parent, you can have a career, you can do drag, you can do these things. It's all possible.
It must be so inspiring for your students, and it must be so cool for them to have gotten to see the professor make a little return cameo on RuPaul's Drag Race this season. What was it like getting to go back into the workroom?
It was a whole completely different experience this time around. Going there without having to compete, it was such a good experience. It was such a wonderful thing. I mean, there was no pressure. You could do whatever you want. You could say whatever you wanted to say. And there was no thought of like, you know, this will be held against me. What's my edit going to be? Will this, will propel me forward in the competition or not? All that was erased, and it was just fun. It was just so much fun.
I'm so glad you had a good time. My final question today is about your very first episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. You were asked how old you were, and you replied, "You don't stop dreaming at a certain age." Now, the pandemic has forced a lot of people to reevaluate what they want in life and what they want to do. What would you say to someone who is afraid of taking that first step?
I would say, look at this old can of tuna. I mean, I started drag very late in life. I came out very late in life. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but there's many people like me as well. It's never too late to dream. Who gets to decide? It's sort of what I implied earlier, is that no one gets to make the rules for me. I get to make my rules. And if I want to do this, I'll do this. If I want to change my career now and become something else, I can do it. There's so much fear, and there's so many sort of parameters put on us by like our cultures and our societies and where we grow up and our expectations. But I'm here to say, do what you want to do, be who you want to be. The message I left when I was eliminated from Drag Race on my lipstick message on the mirror was, love yourself, live your truth, and you're never too old to dream. And that's really my motto. For me, I have to believe in those things and remind myself constantly to keep moving forward.
A great motto to live by. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today, Tempest. It was great to chat with you. And thank you again for making me feel and look so fabulous in Something Rotten here in Salt Lake.
Well, it helps that you already look fabulous. So I was like the icing on the delicious cupcake already. So yeah.
Oh, stop it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Tempest.
Bye.
Come on and come and play in Kiki's closet today.